General Hospital. Spoilers! February 10, Jason gets alarming news. Carly and Valentin heat up Anna's mental breakdown. Continues. Okay, so Tuesday's episode is going to be wild, and I'm not even sure where to start with all this mess happening in Port Charles right now. Like, seriously. The writers are throwing everything at us at once, and honestly, I'm here for it, even though my brain is kind of fried trying to keep track of all these storylines. Let's dive in. Lucy versus Ava, the Art World Showdown. Nobody asked for, so Lucy Coe is back at it again. And by back at it, I mean she's inserting herself into drama that may or may not actually concern her. Classic Lucy, honestly. She's gonna run into Ava Jerome at Windermere, and things are not gonna go well. I do know what you're selling, and it certainly isn't art. Lucy's gonna say this. And like, okay Lucy, we get it, you're protective of your territory or whatever, but also this whole thing is so messy because Lucy thinks Ava is using art sales as some kind of cover to get closer to Jen Sidwell, which I mean, is she wrong though? Ava's been playing games for weeks now. Maybe months. Time is weird in soap opera land. But the point is, Lucy's convinced Ava wants Sidwell for herself, and honestly, who can blame her for thinking that? Ava's track record speaks for itself. The woman has dated like half of Port Charles at this point. And the thing is, this confrontation at Windermere is probably going to be so dramatic. Lucy doesn't do subtle. Never has. Probably never will. So expect some big accusations, some denial from Ava, and probably some cryptic comments about what's really going on with the whole Sidwell situation. But here's what I'm wondering. Is Lucy actually worried about Sidwell, or is this more about Lucy wanting to protect her own interests? Because let's be real, Lucy's always got an angle. Always. She's a businesswoman first and foremost, and if Ava's muscling in on some deal or connection Lucy thinks is hers, yeah, that's not gonna fly. Laura's big decision about the commissioner role. Meanwhile, over in the actual law enforcement side of things, Laura Collins is dealing with the Anna situation. And by dealing with, I mean she's basically having to accept that Anna's not coming back to Port Charles as police commissioner anytime soon. So Laura's gonna have a conversation with Dante Falconeri and Max Scorpio about this whole mess. Anna's stuck in France dealing with legal problems and mental health issues, which is just a lot. Like a lot. The woman went through serious trauma in captivity, and now she's unraveling in France, and it's honestly heartbreaking to watch. Laura's probably going to tell Dante and Mac that Anna won't be returning as commissioner, which everyone kinda already knew, but now it's official, I guess. And here's where it gets interesting. Laura might actually ask Dante to take on the commissioner role permanently. Permanently. That's huge. That's like really huge. Because Dante's been doing the job temporarily, but making it permanent, that's a whole different ballgame. And Dante's gonna be thrown for a loop by this, because like, is he ready for that? Does he even want it? The guy's already got so much on his plate with everything else happening in his life. But also, Dante's a good cop. A great cop, actually. He's earned the respect of everyone at the PCPD, and he's proven himself over and over again. So maybe this is the right move, I don't know. I'm conflicted about it, honestly, because part of me wants Anna to come back and be commissioner again, but another part of me knows she needs time to heal. And Mac's gonna be there for this conversation too, which is interesting. Because Mac was commissioner before, he knows what the job entails. He knows the pressure and the responsibility and everything that comes with it. So his input here is going to be valuable. Felicia's message from Anna is Faison really alive. Okay, this is where things get really wild. Buckle up. Felicia Scorpio is going to seek out Jason Morgan. Why? Because Anna wanted her to deliver a message to him. And the message is absolutely bonkers. Anna said to tell Jason that she was right about Caesar Faison being alive. Alive. And she wants Jason to stop him. But hold on. Let's pump the brakes here for a second. Caesar Faison has been dead for years. Years. Everyone saw him die. Everyone mourned him. Everyone moved on. So the idea that he's suddenly alive is just, it's a lot to process. And here's the thing. Felicia doesn't even believe it. She's probably gonna admit to Jason that she seriously doubts Anna's claims. She thinks Faison is still as dead as he was before, and that Anna's just fixated on this because of everything she went through in captivity. Which makes sense, right? Anna endured serious trauma, She was held captive, tortured, probably definitely messed with psychologically, so of course her mind might be playing tricks on her. Of course she might be seeing threats that aren't really there. Of course she might be fixating on old enemies and old fears. But also, what if she's right? Like, I know that sounds crazy. I know Faison being alive sounds absolutely ridiculous and like the most soap opera-y thing ever. But this is a soap opera. People come back from the dead all the time. It's literally a genre staple. So while Felicia and probably everyone else thinks Anna's lost it, there's always that tiny possibility that Anna actually is right and Faison is alive somehow. Jason's gonna have to process all of this. And Jason's not the type to just dismiss something without investigating first. Even if it sounds insane, even if everyone thinks Anna's having a breakdown, Jason's gonna take this seriously because that's who he is. He doesn't take chances when it comes to potential threats. So I'm predicting Jason's gonna start looking into this Faison thing. Quietly. Without telling anyone. Because if there's even a 1% chance that Anna's right and Faison is alive, that's a problem. A huge problem. The kind of problem that could destroy everyone Jason cares about. Emma's heartbreak over Anna. And speaking of Anna's situation, Emma Scorpio Drake is absolutely devastated by all of this. She's going to talk to Giovanni Gio Palmieri about it, and it's going to be really emotional. Emma's going to admit she's lost the grandmother she knew, which just, that hits hard. Because Emma and Anna have such a special relationship, they're so close. And now Emma has to watch her grandmother fall apart from afar, and there's nothing she can do about it. Gio's going to try to comfort her. He's a good guy. He cares about Emma. But what can you really say in a situation like that? There's no magic words that make it better. There's no way to fix it. Anna's going through her own personal hell in France, and Emma just has to wait and hope that her grandmother will be okay eventually. And the worst part is, Emma probably feels helpless. She can't go to France to be with Anna. She can't help her. She can't do anything except wait for updates and try to live her life in Port Charles while worrying constantly about her grandmother. It's the kind of storyline that's going to make us all emotional, honestly. Because family is everything on this show. And watching a family member struggle with mental health issues, that's real. That's raw. That's the kind of thing that hits close to home for a lot of viewers. Valentin and Carly is romance brewing. Now let's talk about something a little lighter. Or maybe not lighter. I don't know. It depends on how you feel about Valentin Cassadine and Carly Corinthos potentially hooking up. Because that's where this seems to be heading. Valentin's gonna tell Carly that she always knows the right buttons to push. And there's gonna be definite flirty energy between them. Like serious flirty energy. The kind of flirty energy that usually leads to people kissing or more. So, the question is, are Carly and Valentin actually gonna cross a romantic line soon? Part of me is like, yes please, because I'm always here for unexpected pairings. And Carly and Valentin, that's definitely unexpected. They've been working together on this whole alliance thing for a while now, but I don't think anyone really thought they'd end up romantic. But also, it makes sense in a weird way. They're both strong personalities. They're both used to being in charge. They're both willing to do whatever it takes to protect the people they care about. So there's definitely common ground there. And let's be honest, the chemistry between them has been building. Slowly, but surely. Every scene they have together feels charged with something. And now it's coming to a head. But here's what I'm wondering. What does this mean for everyone else in their lives? Carly's got a whole complicated history with Sonny and Jason, and basically everyone in Port Charles. Valentin's got his own drama with Anna and Charlotte and everyone else. So, if these two get together, it's going to create waves. Big waves. The kind of waves that affect everyone around them. General Hospital spoilers are saying that Valentin and Carly's alliance is going to come with more curveballs. Which, honestly, that tracks. Nothing on this show ever goes smoothly. Ever. So even if they do cross a romantic line, there's going to be complications. There's going to be drama. There's going to be obstacles and misunderstandings and probably at least one near-death experience because that's just how Port Charles works. What's really going on with Sidwell? Okay, so circling back to the Sidwell situation for a second, because that's the thread tying a lot of these stories together right now. Jen Sidwell is this mysterious figure who's connected to a bunch of different storylines, and everyone's got their own agenda when it comes to him. Lucy wants him for business reasons, probably. Ava's playing her own game with the art angle. Valentin and Carly are working together on something involving him. Anna was investigating him before everything fell apart. But what's his actual deal? What's his endgame? What does he want? We don't really know yet. And that's what makes him such an interesting wild card right now. He could be dangerous. He could be relatively harmless. He could be working with someone else behind the scenes. We just don't know. And I think that uncertainty is what's driving a lot of the conflict between characters. Everyone's trying to get ahead of whatever Sidwell's planning. Everyone's trying to protect their own interests. Everyone's positioning themselves strategically. But here's the thing. In Port Charles, plans never work out the way people expect them to. Someone always throws a wrench in things. Someone always has a secret agenda. Someone always betrays someone else. So whatever everyone thinks is happening with Sidwell, it's probably not actually what's happening. The Anna situation is far from over. Let's get back to Anna for a minute, because I think this is going to be a long-term storyline. This isn't something that gets resolved in a week or even a month. Anna's mental health crisis is serious, and it's going to take time for her to heal. And I think that's actually a good thing, storytelling-wise. Because mental health issues don't just disappear overnight. Recovery is a process. It's messy. It's non-linear. There are setbacks and breakthroughs and everything in between. So, Anna being stuck in France dealing with legal issues and mental health issues, that feels realistic. That feels true to how these things actually work in real life. You can't just snap your fingers and be okay after trauma like that. But here's what I'm curious about. When Anna does eventually come back to Port Charles, and she will come back. This is a soap opera. Everyone comes back eventually. When she comes back, what's she going to be like? Is she going to be the same Anna we knew before, or is this experience going to change her fundamentally? And what about the whole Faison thing? Is that going to continue to be a fixation for her? Is she going to keep insisting he's alive even when everyone tells her she's wrong? Or is that going to resolve itself before she comes home? So many questions. And honestly, that's what makes this show addictive. The writers know how to keep us hooked. They know how to dangle just enough information to keep us interested without giving everything away at once. Dante's Crossroads. Back to Dante for a second, because I think his storyline is really interesting right now, even if it's not getting as much attention as some of the other stuff. If Laura does offer him the permanent commissioner position, that's going to force Dante to make some big decisions about his future. Does he want to be commissioner? Does he want that level of responsibility and pressure? Or would he rather just be a detective and focus on working cases? And what about his personal life? Being commissioner is going to take up a lot of his time. It's going to mean long hours and constant availability and dealing with political BS and everything else that comes with the job. Is that compatible with having any kind of personal life? With having relationships and maybe eventually a family again? These are real questions Dante's going to have to wrestle with. And I don't think there's an easy answer. Both paths have pros and cons. Both paths could lead to different futures. But knowing Dante, he's probably going to step up. He's probably going to accept the position because that's who he is. He's a guy who takes responsibility seriously. He's a guy who does what needs to be done even when it's hard. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy though. And I think we're going to see Dante struggle with this decision and everything that comes after it.